What's up, everybody? It's Matt Johnson. We're back with another episode of Real Estate Uncensored. This is the place where you get actionable ideas, insight, and inspiration to turn your real estate career into a life of freedom. And we have a phenomenal guest because there is no guest. It is us. Greg and I are off the chain today. We are live on Facebook. We are here on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, whatever platform you want. We are there. We are everywhere in real estate. We are going to be speaking next week in a couple places. We'll talk about that in a second. Today, we're talking a little bit about small choices, the compound effect, how to build momentum. We're talking about some of the things that's going on in our businesses behind the scenes right now. So as always, we have lots of fun stuff to get to. Plus, we'll take your questions live. So if you're here joining us live on Facebook, make sure to pop your questions into the comments. Make sure to let people know where you are at so we can keep you in mind for referrals. And a brief hello and hi to everyone that's already with us live. We appreciate you jumping on. So the Junior Grandmaster, my future next week co-speaking partner in crime, all things real estate related. Greg McDaniel, what is up today?
Times two, man. Times two. Two states, two speaking engagements. Make sure you guys tune in for next Friday's show. We're going to do a live show at RedX headquarters in Salt Lake City. We're going to have a live audience. We're also going to have you guys watching us, so it's going to be a tremendously fun thing. The last time Matt and I did a live show, we were down in Australia, and that was a lot of fun as well. But we're going to have a lot more people live with us at this event. But oh man, you know what? You know the interesting thing about real estate, Matt, is that it's constantly shifting on us. Always, it's like a river. It's always flowing, always trying to find a way easier to get down somewhere, right? And the way our industry is shifting and changing on us right now, with major companies jumping in, Amazon's going to be getting into the real estate. I actually talked to a guy about this, Philip Semineta, about this yesterday. And they actually did a secret selection of agents that they would approve if you went to the super secret site and submitted your name. He did it. I'm like, why didn't you tell me, bro? He's like, I was in Starbucks, man. I just heard about it from another guy talking to another guy. I'm like, this sucks. But it's interesting to see how this industry is shifting. And I appreciate all you guys that are watching us live and the people that watch us and listen to us on our recordings. I want you guys to really sit down, and I really want to get the shit scared out of you. Because the way that my father did real estate, the way we've done real estate for the last couple of decades, it's not going to be the same at all in 3 to 5 years. It is going to be a completely different game. My true personal belief is going to be this. I think there's going to be a dominant 1 to 3 to 4 companies that have hundreds of billions of dollars, like Amazon. I think they make like $220 million a day, like a day. Right, from all their sales. I mean, and I think they're going to go out and they're going to do lead generation. I think they're going to sell us back the leads, but we're going to have to pay to play to be a part of their organization, and then probably do a referral fee. So it's going to be like marketing, but in the reverse order. And so if that's if you guys don't see that coming, you need to get your head out of your ass and you start looking around, pull your out, look around, because it's going to be a different game. And we're going to talk about the compound effect today. Darren Hardy, massive role model for me. I'll actually share something with you that I wrote down in my journal that I go over every single day about that. But it's so true. If you want to lose weight, if you want to get in or out of a relationship, if you want to get more business, if you want to shift in your business, if you want to do anything, it's small, continuous motions and actions you do every single day without failure. And over time, you'll see a massive result. It's like eating an elephant. How do you do that? 1 bite at a time. Yeah. So, Matt, this was on your mind. So you brought this up. And I would love to kind of hear where your brain is going with the compound effects. You said you were kind of mulling over some stuff. So take us away, my friend.
Well, it's been a while since I read The Compound Effect, the book, but I was thinking about what my experience is like with my coach right now. And I am on week 12 of working together and tracking 3 very specific metrics in the business every day, right? So 5 days a week, I do 2 super high-level, well-researched outreaches a day, right? And we're talking about to like business coaches, consultants, agency owners, super high-level people that I'm connected to on LinkedIn, stuff like that. So extremely targeted outreach. And then, so that's my minimum goal, right? Mm-hmm. Now I'll do 2, more than that, but the minimum is just like, hey, if it's 9, 10 o'clock at night and I'm exhausted, I still hop on and do my out. Like that's the minimum, right? And then I also do, I track the number of connect calls. So in other words, actual conversations that I've had on the phone or on a podcast with somebody. Mm-hmm. And then I track the number of strategic introductions that I make. In other words, outbound introductions that I make every day, right? So I've been tracking those 3 metrics, and the interesting thing about it is I looked at that, and I had kind of arrived at those 3 even before my coach and I officially started working together, because I knew his philosophy of only track 3 things. Ignore everything else. There could be 17 different things that you can track in your business, and they might all have some effect. Forget about it. Like, only track 3 things and figure out what the 3 most important things are, and they better be things you can control, right? I could track all kinds of other things, like how many inbound leads I have, how many inbound introductions I get, how many people introduce me to other people. The problem with tracking that stuff is, well, what decisions does that help you make? If it doesn't help you make a decision today on what to do, then don't bother tracking it. And so I track just those 3 things. And the interesting thing is that those are not huge numbers. And so when you think about it after a couple weeks, you're like, man, I'm not really seeing the results. 4 weeks in, 6 weeks in, but I'm telling you now, like 12 weeks in, it's like a groundswell. Like, you can feel it underneath you. You can feel the momentum to the point where, like, just within the last month or so, I'm like, oh my God, I have to stop scheduling connect calls. Yesterday, I was booked straight through from 7:30 in the morning to 2:30 in the afternoon. Oof. No break in between, nothing. And I could have taken on more calls. I'm having to put calls out 3 and 4 weeks ahead. My podcast has started, like the UX podcast. We're booking people for December.
No shit.
Yes.
Dude, knuckles to you, homie. Drop mic. That's how you get it handled.
Yeah, and it is an incredibly interesting feeling to feel like, because I think most of us feel this way. Like, we feel like we're pushing the rock up the hill, right?
Yep.
Everything is on us. Like, it's on our shoulders and we're pushing. I think what the compound effect helps us understand is that the small choices, and I mean small, they have to be small, but small choices and consistency over time, it starts to build up this compound effect. And until you really experience it, it's hard to explain how it feels, but I'm trying to do the best I can. It's like there is a groundswell underneath you that is supporting you and starting to carry you along, rather than you having to push. That's the best way I can describe it.
I completely agree with you, but let's be careful about that, because you can have the compound effect in the negative way just as easily. So if you don't do the calls, you don't do the intros, you don't do whatever it's going to be, you will get to the point where you will be in 12 weeks, let's use your analogy, 12 weeks, you're going to be like, where's my business, man? Like, what happened? Like, it was great, now there's nothing. Well, it's because you've been smelling your own farts. And you're like, no, I'm so amazing, look at all my business. Oh, I'm so cool. But then at the end of it, you're just like, wait a minute, I'm not so cool anymore, dude. That didn't work out. I mean, I love the analogy here for you guys that are watching this. In the compound effect, Darren Hardy does the analogy. If you have a jet airline taking off out of Los Angeles, and you are 1% off course and you're flying to New York City, you're either going to end in Albany or you're going to end in Delaware. That's a 1% off. Imagine if you're 20, 30, 40, 50% off of your daily activities and your daily routines. Imagine you're going to fucking end up in Mexico, Florida, or Canada. I don't know how you're going to end up in Mexico, but that's going to be a really big turnaround if you're flying from Los Angeles to there and you end up in Mexico. I'm like, that didn't work out geographically. But my point is this is like, so for you, I've had my priorities set. Is that what I think it says?
Yes, it does. Jason Northcutt, thank you for that. Jason is watching live. Says Greg is now the fart whisperer. Jason, I love you so much. Thank you for that. Greg now has a new nickname that I will use behind the scenes incessantly. I may introduce you to that as our speaking engagement in Michigan next week. Ladies and gentlemen, the fart whisperer himself, the junior grandmaster, Greg McDaniel. What's up?
I will honestly, you'll be leaving with one less testicle from that stage.
Exactly.
But my point is that, I've been putting my priorities on other things than my actual real estate production this last year, because we've been building our EXP team, which, by the way, guys, if you're interested in EXP, dude, come on over. Look, the way Matt and I are building is something amazing. We want to help you guys transform from where you guys are now with our training and our products and the people we can connect you with, get you guys to that next level of production. So if you're making $100,000 this year or $50,000 this year, we can help you get to much further along. I mean, Jason, who is listening to us right now, Matt was having a phenomenal. Matt, share what Jason shared with you about his production just from listening to our radio show, our podcast. He went from basically bankrupt, right?
Yeah. So Jason is sold 73 listings in the last 18 months. Right now has 8 pending and 39 freaking active listings.
39.
Knuckles to you, dude. Good Lord, man.
Boom. And that's just from taking action. And Jason's a precise example of small, consistent actions over a period of time, which then he has seen some massive success. And Matt said, hey, look, come on the show and let's talk. Jason's like, no, bro, I got work to do. I'm not coming on until I got more work to do, until I get more success. And Matt and I are like, well, okay, that's pretty impressive that you won't do that. But I mean, if you guys want results like that, dude, come over to EXP. Go to bookmcdaniel.com. Let's talk about this. Let's bookmcdaniel.com. Take 30 minutes every day. Let's see if it's a fit. So now, past that shameless plug.
Yeah. So back to your own real estate production.
Yeah. So I mean, I've been beating my head against the wall, going, what in the blank is not working? Like, what am I doing, right? And then that's why I'm so glad that we brought up the compound effect today, because I got out of the shower the other day. I'm like, what do I need to do to get my life, my business back on track? And it hit me like a ton of bricks. Do you know how simple it is, Matt? Do you know what I thought of to get me back on track?
Okay.
25. The number 25. The reason why is this. A guy named Dick that I coached with a number of years ago, he said when he got into the business, he persistently and consistently took action every single day. When he moved to the Midwest, didn't know anybody, had no money, was freshly married, and just got out of the Army. He got out there, and what he did is he took 25 business cards, and he handed them out to 25 people every day of the week. And within 6 months, he had more business than he knew what to do with. Very similar to your 12-week scenario, right? Persistent, consistent actions got him the number of deals he wanted to do. Now, I asked Dick, because I was a smart ass at that time. Well, that never really changed. I'm still a smart ass. But, as Matt gives me the look of, But I said, okay, Dick, what was your biggest year?
Silently agreeing, that's all.
I know, I'm doing it for the podcast listeners. Because they can't see you scoffing at me.
They can't see me vigorously but silently agreeing.
Yes. He's a dick. But I asked him, I said, Dick, what was your biggest production year? And he said, 2,500. I'm like, you did 2,500 sides in 1 year? He's like, yeah. Now, keep in mind, he had a massive team at that point. Okay. But it was because he took small actions. So what do you guys want to do? Where do you want to be? Do you want to do 2,500 deals? Do you know what that entails? It's a lot of paperwork and a lot of cat wrangling to do that many deals. Or do you want to do 20, 50, 100, 15? I mean, what does that mean for you? But what is that action? What actions do you have to take to get there? And my number was this. I'm going to use RedX, and I'm going to have contact with 25 people, either doing RedX calls, doing doors, because I'm going to go back and I'm going to schedule in doing 1 hour a day of door knocking. 1 hour. 1 hour on the field. So it'll be probably 15 minutes there, 15 minutes back, an hour 30, hour 45 out of my day. And I'll do, I'll get 25 contacts 5 days a week, send out five send out cards, boom, done. That's all you need to do. Or just follow what Hank does and do the 50, 20, 5, and 1 method with the 36 to life, mentality. Yeah. But just what's that number? I mean, Matt, wouldn't you agree that it's always different for other people? I mean, it doesn't have to be my number. It can be whatever works for your lifestyle.
No, yeah, well, yeah, exactly. It is different for everybody. I think what Hank teaches in the 36 to life model, and for anyone that knows, Hank is the one that is a mentor of ours and the one that really brought us over into EXP. And so anyone that joins and kind of links arm with us and comes into EXP under us gets the 36 to life program, the educational program, for just the admin fee. Like it's like $36. It's ridiculously cheap. And the reason we did that is because we want everybody that's in our world to go through that training, and there to be absolutely no excuse to not go through that training, because to me, that's the ideal for most agents. Most agents are not interested in selling 2,500 deals a year. They can't even wrap their brain around that because they're not doing triple digits a year yet, and that's fine. Let's get to the point where you're doing consistently 3 deals a month, month after month after month after month, and then like Hank teaches, let's figure out how to raise your average sale price and then even narrow it from there. Let's get you working only with the clients that make you really happy, and do 36 of those transactions a year and have really good, deep relationships with a client base that we really love and enjoy. And I'm taking that exact same approach to my podcast production agency. Like, we're capping my agency, and I'm not going to work with anybody and everybody. I'm not selling podcasting services to anybody and everybody. I'm taking the exact same approach in the agency side of things because I want to work with the people I want to work with. I want to have amazing relationships. I want to be excited to do what I do for them. I want to be excited to get them results. And I'm not going to work with everybody, right? So I'm going to cap it at a certain number of shows that we produce. And then as older clients, legacy clients drop off, we take on maybe a new client that we feel like we can really help. And so I'm implementing 36 to life, the philosophy behind it in my marketing business. And so I just, for the majority of agents that are probably listening to this, that's probably the lifestyle you want. Multiple six figures. You work with exactly the people you want to work with. You don't have a rushed, hurried lifestyle. You get to spend all the quality time you want with your family, and you have clients that you really enjoy, and you get up in the morning excited because you actually genuinely like them.
Yeah. No kidding. I actually had, you know what, Matt? I'm going to say something here. I'm going to open up my coaching. I shut my own personal coaching program down for quite a while because I didn't like the people I was coaching because they weren't listening to me. And so, guys, if you want personal coaching, I'm going to take 10. You know what? I'm just going to do 10. I'm going to cap it. I'm going to do 10 clients. I have 2 now. So if I have 8 more slots, if you guys are interested in doing coaching, it's $750 a month. You get 4 calls a month with me. Hit me up. Go to 925-915-1978. That's my cell phone, 925-915-1978. If you want to do coaching with me, $750 a month. I only have 10 slots. That's it. That's my cap, Matt. I'm only going to work with 10 people. So if we don't jive, dude, I enjoyed it, but we're out. I think that I like that. I can do 10 slots. Yeah. I think because I really like. I've got a Ryan that I coach with, and I have this amazing conversations with him every week. He has done a 180% shift from where he was when I first started working with him. I wanted to kick him in the nuts. And when he hears this, he's gonna laugh his ass off because I kept his first 2 months checks, and I just held him. I was gonna tear him up and throw him away because he wasn't listening to me. He started paying attention. Dude, he's radically transformed, and I love coaching with him every single week because he's taking the small steps.
Yeah.
He's doing the things that it takes.
Yeah, and that's what's tough. I think if anybody's listening and the hardest part of like putting the compound effect into practice is it's those first weeks or maybe even a couple of months when you're taking those small actions and you're feeling the pain and the inconvenience and the discomfort of taking those small actions every single day, but you're not seeing the payoff. Like the payoff is still 3 months down the road or what, especially in real estate, 3 to 6 months maybe. And you need that person. I need that person. You need that person that comes along that says 2 things. Number 1, you don't need more extreme action. Stay the course, right? Because you haven't felt the momentum yet that you are about to build. It's extremely important to have that person speak into your life, be able to come along and say, no, everything is fine. You're doing exactly what you should be doing. You don't need to do a bunch of more things. You definitely don't need to do different things. You're just in the dip where you're not seeing the results yet. So hang in there. So we need that. We need that person to speak into our life.
The guide.
And number 2, we have to have that sense that it's going to pay off at some point and know that this is just the dip.
Yep.
Right? And it's going like it's only a matter of time.
The dip can seem really big.
Yeah.
It can seem like the darkest of days. And the funny thing is, it's cliche, whatever. But the reality is that the darkest time of night is right before dawn. That is really where the darkest is. And I've had to remind myself about that. You have to remind yourself about that. But the cool thing is that you and I have always had that thing that you and I can yell at each other. We're business partners. We're incredibly close friends. So we can have that, like, we'll tear each other's heads off, but then we're there to sew it back on as well. But we also support each other. When you have gone through challenges, I've gone through challenges. You and I are that sounding board, and we'll sit there and support each other. And you like you said, you have to have that person that says, hey, dude, look, I got you, brother. I hear you. I'm there for you. I love you. How can we do this together? What can I do to help you? That support, that guide figure in your life is critical. I have you in my life. I have my father in my life. I have Casey in my life. I think there's another person that's this person's beginning to get in that realm. They don't know it yet, but I have the 3 of you, and it's critical to have those types of people because those dark days can really get you down.
Yeah, they really can. And you never know. It's a little bit easier to predict the dip in real estate because things are fairly known. Like we kind of know, it takes about 6 months to incubate a lead. Now, I was talking to Jeff Cohn about this morning, and they've done all the testing. They have so many agents on their team. They're making so many phone calls. Then he's got all the data from 1,000 calls a day, which is an overseas calling company that he owns that calls for agents all across the country. Like they're making hundreds and hundreds of thousands of phone calls over the course of the year that he has all the data for.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, look, like it just takes 6 months. Doesn't matter whether they're an internet lead, doesn't matter whether it's someone from your database, it doesn't matter whether it comes from prospecting. Like people are starting the search earlier. They're popping up on our radar a little bit earlier because they're registering on sites, or they're coming through Zillow or whatever the case is. He said they're just getting on our radar earlier. It just takes 6 months to incubate people. Well, we know that. And so the dip from the point when we start taking like consistent small action, especially to generate leads, we know, or at least we should know, most agents don't know this, but if you're listening to this show, you know, that the incubation time, the dip between when you start taking consistent action and when you start getting consistent results is going to be about 6 months.
Yeah.
Man, half the battle is just knowing that.
Well, you and I got into this whole podcasting thing, and we looked at Gary V's model, and we said, well, is anyone going to listen to us? I don't know, man. We love hanging out together. We love being clowns on camera together. Let's just see what we do. Well, when do you think we're going to get results? I don't know, bro. Like, it took Gary V 18 months to kind of get results. And so you and I literally just, I didn't think about it for the first year and change. I didn't really ever think about our view counts or listen counts. We just started creating better content, and started just going one step in front of the other because we couldn't see any further in front of us because we didn't know what that path was going to look like.
Yeah.
So one step, next step, next step, next step. And all of a sudden we look up and we got a wildly successful podcast. And it's all because of you guys, the listeners who listen to our crazy asses ramble on and, allow us to bring you or your guests on the show and stuff like that. And, all of a sudden we look up and we're like, holy shit, dude, we have a crap ton of downloads and listens and followers all over the world. But we never judged ourselves on our progress and our path. We just did the next step. We didn't look up and be like, oh, man, we're not there yet. We just said, okay, well, hey, what's our next step opportunity? What can we go? Who can we bring on? What can we be better at? Where can we, tighten our belts? Where can we spend a little bit more, And I think a lot of people get caught up. I'm very much guilty of it, as we all know. I get caught up on the big, shiny end result, which is something I'm never going to not do because that motivates me. That gets me going. But it's taking the next steps. Like, what's the next move you're going to have to make to get to that end goal? Yeah. And working with you, working with Nick Sakis, working with a couple of other people, and just small, measurable, incremental steps. It's a lot more fun to hit those small goals, too, than ultimately hit the big goal.
Yeah. Well, and that's a key. That's something that I'm working on. And part of the way that I celebrate success and force myself to do it, and it's because my coach forced me to do this. I didn't really realize it initially, like what it was, like what he was doing. So every day I send an email report to my coach and include a few things, but one of them is like, hey, did I hit the main goal for the day?
Right.
And yeah, I mean, it forces me. It's not just a reporting mechanism. It also forces me to take stock and go, okay, today was another win. Today was another win. Today I have to write it out, and I have to look at it, and I have to feel it. Because if I don't force myself to do it, I mean, there's a lot of benefits of doing that kind of email, and you could do this with an accountability partner. You don't necessarily need a coach for this, but you could email an accountability partner back and forth, and that'll be helpful. But let's say I didn't. Let's say I didn't email. What my tendency is I'll do the small things, and then immediately there's the switch in my head that goes, yeah, but that's not enough. And right. I don't even celebrate the fact that I did what I was supposed to do today because it wasn't enough, whatever that means in my horrible effed up brain.
Right.
It's never enough. Like, I'm too goal driven for me to really let myself off the hook like that. And so I have to force myself to put a number on it. It has to be a small enough number that I can do it consistently every single day, and there's no excuse not to do it. And then I just have to do it, and I have to force myself to write it and tell somebody else that, hey, today was a win. Today was another positive step forward because I did exactly what I committed to do. I took the most important thing that I can do in my business. It's one number, and I freaking hit that number.
Right.
And it forces me to celebrate success along the way, which I would not normally do otherwise. And if you're like that, if you're like me and you don't celebrate success easily, that's a really good practice to get into.
So what do you do? Okay, so you hit your numbers yesterday, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, what do you do the days that you hit your numbers? Did you allow yourself to go down and buy an extra shot in your mocha choco latte? Or I mean,
no, because that would also violate my other goal of getting 7 hours of sleep a night.
Okay, so what do you do to reward yourself on a micro level?
So on a micro level, what I'm working on right now is taking a second, even if it's 15 or 30 seconds or whatever, when I send that email, to write down that today was a win and how I feel about it, and force myself to feel the victory. I don't get the thrill of victory necessarily. Like I'm just like you tease me about having like a piece of coal where my heart should be. I don't get emotionally high very often. No, you know what I'm saying? I'm just not an emotional roller coaster. And so I have to force myself to do that. And so that's part of it, right? So the act of writing the email is part of what forces me to celebrate success, because I actually have to write about how that makes me feel to hit that metric for the day. Now, one further thing that I've experimented with that I'm not, it hasn't been consistent, right? But I do have, like, I think if you're into music, this might work for you, which is to select a piece of music that feels victorious, that feels like a win, that makes you feel good just in and of itself, and force yourself to take a moment at the end of the day, once you've evaluated the day and determined today was a win by my standards, today was a win because I hit the one thing I'm supposed to do, is to just put your earbuds on and listen to that piece of music and stop doing everything else and just listen to it and force yourself to acknowledge today was a win.
I know you. I mean, so you listen to the theme song of My Pretty Pony, My Pink Pony.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know that and the Trolls theme song from Justin Timberlake. That's right.
No, that's
I got this feeling inside my bones. Yeah.
I'm just gonna let you run with that one.
Yeah, exactly.
But I actually listened to that. Like, so something like for, I don't know what music what you pick, but the one of the things that I listen to for like when doing the radio show and really kind of pumping myself up. It's silly. It's really is silly, but it really gets me going. It's two songs that I really like. One of them is Eminem, 8 Mile, the theme song for that, kind of just talking about you have an opportunity presented in front of you, take action, where it's going to basically pass you by. And then the other one is Greatest Showman, with Hugh Jackman, the theme song for that one. That's a fucking phenomenal video. I didn't know if I was going to like it. Yes, it is a musical, but it's incredibly well done. And the main song for that, The Greatest Show on Earth, I play that in the beginning and the end of my actual radio show on KGO. And it just gets me pumped and it gets me amped. And whenever I think about this show, I kind of think about the same thing. I try to bring the next level, and it goes also for going out there, talking with buyers, talking with sellers, doing the actual business of real estate. Dude, you're the greatest show on earth. Show the fuck up. Just know that you're the greatest show out there. And we all beat ourselves up. We're like, well, I'm not as good as this guy or this gal or this, that, or another thing. I wish it would be easier. Yeah, but you got to understand, you already are the greatest thing out there. You are already the greatest thing out there. You just got to tell yourself. You just got to believe it yourself, man. Everyone else believes it except for you. I mean, the star of the show goes, man, I don't think I can get up today and go do this. It's like, oh man.
Well, and here's where the compound effect comes in, because it when you take like those small consistent actions, but you 100% all out commit to them, and then you just start racking up the wins every day, whether it's 5 contacts, 20 contacts, like Brandon says, he's watching live, says 20 contacts a day, no matter how it goes. If you do 20 contacts a day, it's a win. That's a great mentality to have, because if you just rack up 5 days a week of 20 contacts, they're about 400 new contacts a month. Every one of those 400 people are going into your email database. Hopefully, if you're asking for emails, 400 people a month, that's 4,800 people a year. Can you imagine every single year adding 4,800 new people to your email database?
It's a game changer, man.
That's a game changer.
Game changer.
And more importantly, along the way, you feel successful. You feel confident because you just keep racking up more contacts and more contacts and more contacts. But more specifically, you're not just racking up the contacts. You're setting the goal, and then you're just setting it up and knocking it down, setting it up and knocking it down. And I know I had I way underestimated how important that is, just to have the sense that, hey, today was a win.
Mm-hmm.
And every day feeling like, no, like, yeah, there's all kinds of stuff I could do, but today was a win.
Yep. And that's the thing you got to tell yourself. I had the girl I'm dating. She came over to my house last night. Yesterday afternoon, we went and walked down and got some dinner downtown Walnut Creek. And she looked at me and she's like, "So did you make any money today?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's a horrible question to ask a real estate agent." I mean, we're not in a profession where it's just instant gratification, but it got me thinking, like, how many times do I want to answer no to that until it gets too painful? You know, and so for me, that's a driver for me. It's like that thing that, like, having the wins of the day, like, hey, I did my job. So if someone says, "Did you make any money today? Are you chasing that paper?" This, that, or another thing, and you can honestly answer the question. Maybe I didn't make money today, but I'm going to make money tomorrow. And am I chasing that paper? 100%. And like you've said, Matt, don't judge yourself on not seeing results within a day, a week, a month, 2 months. Judge yourself on your consistent actions in 6 months.
Yeah.
When Dick Ward, the gentleman I was talking to, when he said that, I asked him, "How, Dick, from doing the 25 business cards every single day, how long did it take you to start seeing success?" And ironically enough, Matt, it was 6 months. And he was closing 14 deals a month and had about 14 to 15 in escrow and another huge, healthy pipeline because he was persistent and consistent. Another guy named Bob Wolf out of Southern California. That guy is a monster in the industry. He made $1.7 million in Q3 of last year. Just in 3 months, he made $1.7 million in GCI because he's consistent about following up with his people. He's been so busy. He's been a personal friend of my parents and our family for a long period of time. He's this national speaker and so on and so forth. But he's been in the business so long, has so many clients. He doesn't even know when he sold them houses. He just picks up a phone every day and goes, "Matt, Julie, it's been another year. Thinking about selling?" And that's the consistency of his calls. He just does those all the time, and then he gets the referrals, he gets the business, and he continues to grow. And so, there's a book that Matt recommended to me, and it is a phenomenal book. Matt and I were talking off air about this. It's how to build a story brand, or is that the name of it? Yeah.
Yep.
And guys, if you're thinking about how to get your business to the next level, I would highly recommend. Here it is. Building Story Brand. So there it is right there. Go get this book, guys. By what is this? What's his name? Donald Miller. It's a crack for anyone who wants to become more relevant to your consumers. And once you dig into this book and you really understand what I'm talking about, you're going to go back and you're going to listen to it again. You're going to fill in the worksheets and you're going to put things into action. And you'll see why your marketing has been like a sieve. Just everything's pouring out of it instead of retaining it in a nice bowl. It's because we've been doing it backwards. And that's another thing. Taking consistent action on bettering yourself. How to speak more clearly and concisely to the end users. Talking to them the way they need to be talked to, not the way you think you need to express your brand. Which it just blew me away when I was reading this book. When I'm driving or working out and I'm listening to this for the first round, I have an hour and 59 minutes left. But it's like there's revelations just hitting me like waves, just boom, 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 to go back and change things. And it's super easy.
Yeah.
Holy shit, Max, you're listening from Brazil? What up, dude? Fuck, first Brazilian we have, I think.
Very cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
I think Max just hit me up on WhatsApp too.
Yeah.
So now I'll respond.
Yeah, very cool. So a couple of things from the Compound Effect, the book. Says Darren Hardy says tracking your progress and missteps is key for long-term success. Track your behavior for at least 1 week because all winners are trackers. You cannot improve something until you measure it. And I think where I know I've struggled with this, I wanted to throw out something that's been helpful to me. Is if you can narrow it down to, let's put it this way. Everything can be tracked. Everything can be narrowed down to a number because even if you're working on a project where it's unpredictable or the thing that needs to get done is something that's a little bit different every day, if it literally is the most important thing on your plate, what I would recommend is your target is a certain amount of time invested every day in that thing, whatever that thing is.
Yeah.
So if you're prospecting and you're making phone calls where it's relatively predictable and it's the same thing every day, then absolutely nail it down to like a number of connects or something like that, or a number of outbounds, because it's predictable. We know what the numbers are. We know what the ratios are. You can ask other people. Greg, for the most part, how many doors you can hit an hour, how many of those are going to be home. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can literally structure an entire program just because you've done it enough that the results are relatively predictable. Guys, if you're the only time that I think people struggle with that is when they're in an environment or they're working on a project or something like that where it's not as predictable and they don't know what to expect and it's not the same thing every day. And then I think people let go of their tracking. Like, they think, well, I can't really track that. I just need to like do it. What's been helpful to me is no, like, even when I was working on the book, the way that I got 30,000 words done is I just focused on every afternoon was 1,000 words.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And when we move into the next phase of the book, well, then it's something different, right? So then it becomes it's like a half hour towards the book, right? So then, like, when there's a bunch of different tasks that need to be done and I can't nail it down to like just relentlessly like the same thing every day, once I leave that environment and I'm over into this thing where there's a bunch of different stuff to do, I change the goal to where it's an amount of time, but then it's still binary. Did I hit it or did I not? 0 or 1. Either I hit it or didn't.
Yeah.
And it's still something you can track on a numbers basis. Did I hit 30 minutes towards this particular goal in my life or did I not? And so there's always a way to break it down into numbers that you can track so that you can do exactly what Darren Hardy talks about and relentlessly track the numbers, because that's what actually gets more successful, right? Is whatever we track, whatever we measure is what improves. So I just wanted to point that out, that hopefully that's helpful to anyone that's dealing with maybe project-based stuff, where you can't nail it down to just the same task every single day.
Yeah, I'm going to be putting in here, there are some things. If you go to thecompoundeffect.com/free, I'm going to put this in here, and you guys can go get some, different worksheets that you can fill out, like the gratitude assessment, the core values assessment, the life assessment, the habit assessment, weekly rhythm register, the input influences, and then the association evaluator. I used to print these out and give these to my coaching clients when I was the head coach for my past brokerage. And I'll tell you one thing: like, when you really start looking at this, and the one that really kind of got me was the input influencers. Like, what is influencing your mindset on a consistent basis, and then your habit assessments. I mean, core values. I mean, these things, when you really write them down and you're 100% true with yourself, your mind will open up and it's going to be a completely different way of looking at things, because you're going to be honest with yourself. No more fluffy kitties and unicorns and sherbet, guys. I mean, this is hard hitting.
Well, stop sending me cat videos, Greg.
That will never stop. That will never stop. That will not. Till we are old men on rocking chairs, I will still be like, get a video, click.
Exactly. All right. There's one fun thing that I spotted in the book that I wanted to point out. He recommends using a Seinfeld calendar for public accountability. So I thought I'd explain what that is, because I love Seinfeld. Please. So Jerry Seinfeld shared in an interview one time years ago that he has written a joke every day since he decided to become a comedian. He started tracking it, and he's written a joke, at least one joke, every single day. So in other words, he's doing one small step towards the mastery of his craft, what he does for a living, and he does that every single day without fail. And now he's in the realm of, I think he's done it since the mid 80s. So we're talking about something like, what is that, 95, 2000, 30 plus years.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow.
Think about how many jokes that is. 365 jokes a year for 30 years. I'm terrible at math, but so anyway, if you're listening in the audience, feel free to pop that into the Facebook comments. But imagine that, like, how much better would you be? Now think about if you just decided, well, I'm going to write a bunch of jokes. I'm going to do a bunch of X, Y, and Z. Odds are you're probably not going to do it every day, because it's going to feel too big to do on any one day. But if you break it down to something small that you can do it every day, and then you just do it relentlessly week after week, month after month, year after year, not only are you going to get really good at it, it becomes just part of your life.
Yeah.
And mastering the craft of business. And so I was thinking about it, like as the business continues to build momentum, do I want to shift my metrics to where I'm tracking something different? I'm like, when would I ever want to stop doing 2 super high quality, well-researched, high-level reach outs per day? Like, when would my business ever get to the point where I wouldn't get value out of connecting with 10 new people a week that are super high level in my industry? I'm like,
I don't think you would.
I don't think I would. In fact, I might up it. I'm saying, like, now that I have a track record of performance that I know I can hit too, I may up it, but I can't imagine the business ever getting to the point where it wouldn't benefit from me reaching out at that level, even though it sounds small on a daily basis. Like, you could easily do, you set aside an hour and you can easily do 10 or 15 or 20 maybe reach outs. But there's something about that. There's something about scaling it down to where it's something you can do every single day without fail, no matter how busy the day is. And you just build up that relentless consistency of doing it day in and day out. Man, it builds up such a momentum. I don't know that I'll ever stop that. I mean, and the only way I would stop is if I found something different to apply that same mentality to. I don't think I'll ever lose that mentality. I may just change the tactic of what I'm doing every day, because maybe I'll find something else that's a higher value for my time. It's the only thing I'm changing.
The Grand Master, me Papa, the T Diddy, he has given a phenomenal script, and this script it's called the elevator script. And if it would fit in perfectly for what you're talking about right now, it was typically built for us talking about a seller wanting to, sell a home. So if a seller is looking to sell a home and they're at $500,000 and they want to go buy a $750,000 home, well, they've ridden that elevator up to that max amount of money for that $500,000 home. So they have to get off. They have to sell that home. They have to get off that elevator, transition to the other elevator, take them that 750 mark. And so when it comes to using your time, you're going to ride your elevator up to a certain level on the 2 outreaches. You're going to have to transfer off of that elevator onto another elevator that's going to take you to that next higher level. If you guys ever been to the Empire State Building, you don't take one elevator all the way up to that thing. You transfer, I think, 1 or 2 times to get to all the way to the top. And so for you guys, as you consistently grow your businesses, you've got to be willing to adjust and adapt. And Dennis Harvey, I love his speech when it comes to having to jump. And having to jump is, when you see people, flying through life and they have the nice cars, the nice marriages, the good-looking kids, the successful, and blah blah blah, the nice clothes, the trips, the whole thing. The thing is that those people jumped. They jumped off that cliff. They took a chance. Me personally, a lot of you guys, sometimes, like, I know that I have to take a jump. There are a couple of things in my life that are going to shift in the next 3 to 4 months. They're scary as shit, man. I mean, fucking petrifying. But I know I'm going to have to make that jump. And, the thing is that I've been talking to myself about this a lot. Matt, you and I have talked about this off air. Some of these things, I think you know what I'm talking about. And, I'm going to have to jump and jump into the air and see what happens. But I'm excited to do it, and you guys have got to do it the same thing. So if you guys want to get to that next level of your business, you have to jump, and jumping could be small. It could be doing doors for an hour. It could be doing calls. It could going to a networking event. It could be doing whatever it is to build your business, doing more open houses, whatever it is. You have to jump and take more action. If you want that life of yours, the one you've dreamed of, but you don't jump, you'll never have it. Okay? If you're getting what you get every single year, and you're having the same year over and over, well, you got to change something. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, getting a different result. I have been living the life of insanity for the last 2 years in a certain aspect of my life, and that's going to change. And so, I mean, like everyone else, I'm scared as shit to make this jump. But I know that when I do, my chute is not going to open up right away. It's going to be brutal. I'm going to get bumped around. I'm going to get bashed up. I'm going to get cut up. I'm going to maybe bust a bone here and there. But I know that one day my chute will open, and I'm going to fly. And I'm willing to take that risk. So I hope you guys are too in your businesses, in your personal lives, and in anything else. Take the jump. Just trust in yourself. If you're going to bet in anything, bet in yourself, because that's the one thing you can control. You can control your diet, your mental attitude. You can control your environment. You can control your learning habits. You can't control anyone else in life, no matter how much you think you can. Spouse, significant other, children, coworkers, you can't control them. You can control your own actions. So live the life of your dreams. It'll scare the shit out of you, but you're going to have a great story to tell when you get done with it. And it all starts with taking small, simple steps. And on that note, yes.
Yeah.
I'll get off my soapbox.
Well, let's talk about a small step that people can take, which is that they should jump on the phone with you.
Yes.
Very specifically, look, guys, if you're listening to this and you want to be, and you want to have that kind of real estate career that I talked about, where you have 36 clients a year, they're exactly who you want to work with, that you love getting up in the morning and serving them, you enjoy your job, you enjoy your family, you enjoy your travel, you enjoy the lifestyle, you get to put money aside, you have investments coming in, you have money invested in company stock that's essentially given to you in the process of doing what you're doing anyway. You get the chance to build passive income in multiple different ways, including just telling people about the company that you work for, and when they join up, you get credit. So all those different things. That's what EXP is about, and that's why we moved Greg's team over to EXP, and it's why we're such a strong believer in our mentor Hank Avink and his 36 to life system, and we want everybody to go through that, which is why everyone that joins up through us gets to go through that program for essentially pocket change, like $1 a day for the first month, we very, 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 very strongly believe that is what most agents want. That is the lifestyle that most agents want. If you want to go beyond that, we've got the resources for you. You get to plug into Jeff Cohn and all of his team systems, the #1 team in Nebraska that's doing 800 deals this year. If you want to get to that level, we've got the resources, the connections, the relationships to help you do that too. But if you're in the situation where you just want to build a super consistent, enjoyable, lucrative, fun business to run, that's what we're all about. So that's why they should jump on the phone with you, Greg.
Yes, they should, Matt, because you know what? We want you guys to be the hero of your story. We want you guys to, go out there and be the guy in the Caribbean or the gal in the Caribbean or the Riviera, and everyone's looking at them going, how in the heck are they living this lifestyle? Why? Because you believed in yourself, and we believe in you guys as well. So let's go to bookmcdaniel.com. Guys, go to bookmcdaniel.com. It's right there on the screen. If not, you guys now know where to go if we're lodged in your ears somewhere doing some weird activity, probably bubble baths or workouts. We're not sure.
God, I hope not both. All right. Well, make sure to leave us a 5-star rating and a review. Head on over to iTunes or Apple Podcasts. You can do either one. If there was a particular guest that was on the show that you really liked, make sure to shout them out and thank them for their contribution when you leave the review. And then you can always go if you're looking for to do things like this, like what we're doing right now on Facebook Live, if that's something that you're interested in, but you're not sure exactly how to apply it to your real estate business, like what do you talk about? How do you connect with people? How do you build relationships over Facebook Live that actually turn into real deals with real clients? We put together a whole free training series for that. It's on video. It's 4 video modules. You can get it at rockstarlivevideo.com. You get instant access to all 4 videos. So you can jump in right away and start working with it. We actually show you on the phone actually what to do and how to do it. So you don't leave needing to know anything else. You can literally get started and start using Facebook Live and live video in general in your business right away. So that's at rockstarlivevideo.com. All right, Greg, shall we tie a nice little bow around this fun solo episode?
Yes. If you guys are just tuning in right now, if you guys want to do some one-on-one coaching with me, I'm taking only 10 clients. The cost is $750 a month. If you guys want to see if that's going to be something for you, talk about implement small steps and get you guys to that next level, go text me at 925-915-1978, and let's see if you're a right fit for me and I'm the right fit for you to get you to that next level. So that's personal coaching with me, only 10 clients. Now that's 10. 2 hands. That makes 10. And now we'll put a bow on it. So, Matt, color me a bow tie.
So today I'm going to go with turquoise blue.
You love blue, homie. Okay. Turquoise blue, just like the oceans in the Riviera.
That's right.
All right, guys. You heard it. Turquoise blue is the color for the day. We hope you guys enjoy this. We love you to pieces. We're going to keep coming back with amazing more shows. New cool guests, so we keep bringing value to you. Matt and I are almost 4 years deep into this podcast as of this recording, and we are not going to stop. And if you want to graciously drop $50 million into each one of our accounts, we will go live 5 days a week. Yes, we will, for that mere cost of $100 million. All joking aside, guys, we love you. We're going to be coming back on the next show this Friday. Make sure to tune in for the Red X show. It's going to be this following Friday. Matt, what's the date on that? We're going to be there. We're going to be the 28th?
28th.
Make sure to tune in on the 28th, guys, and we will be doing a live show from the Red X headquarters in Salt Lake City. So until then, guys, peace out, ninjas. We're gone.